to Radio Free South Africa. This is your host, Karen Smith. In previous programs, we have skirted around the subject of the white squatter camps in South Africa. We've spoken about the 119 race-based laws that exclude whites from the workplace. But we have not taken head-on the subject of the white camps and the poverty, misery, and horrors that 1 million and growing every day white people in South Africa have to face. So today, our guest is Leigh Oxley du Preez, the founding member of South African Family Relief Project, one of the very, very few white South African charities that has taken on this poverty and has donated, gone to, taken care of the children, put in concrete floors, feeds and clothes these million starving, dispossessed whites. So it is my great honor to welcome today my friend, Leigh. Hi, Leigh, how are you? The story of the whites in South Africa is really, really sad, and nobody is allowed to help them because they have no government help, and nobody is prepared to step in and help them. The world is not hearing their story, and they are just left to survive somehow on their own. Hello, Leigh.
Hi, Karen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Welcome, Leigh. I'm very glad to have you on. And the first thing I'd like to do is to congratulate you because we had as you know, a British photographer listen into one of our shows and get so moved by the plights of the whites in South Africa that he actually went there to investigate and do a photography session there. And today he came out with a YouTube video, plus in his magazine, Union Mag, he's done an incredible article with beautiful pictures of the squatter camps in South Africa, where he features you front and center. So it is very nice to know that our efforts are actually reaching the world and that people are caring. Hi, thank you, Blackbird. I'm sorry, I can't see whether I'm live or not. This is a very difficult call. I'm trying to reconnect with South Africa. If everybody would just give me a 2-minute gap here, I will drop both calls and try again. So if you'd please just give me a moment, I will try and bring them back on and get the show going. South Africa is a terrific problem for all of us, and we battle. We really do battle. Getting South Africans online, staying online, it's a nightmare. So if you would just give me a few moments, please, to try and get this going. Okay. And who goes out to the camps and helps these people. It is way more important to hear from them than to hear from me, who is so many miles away. I can report as an observer, but I can't report as report as a person on the ground, which Leigh can do. So I think it's very important that you have the people who are right there that can tell you what is going on. If you please just be patient with me. This is becoming a nightmare for me. Hi, Leigh. Okay, it looks like we're on. It looks like we're good. I'm just hoping that they can hear us. I'll ask in chat again. Hi, Leigh. Maybe this way it'll work. Maybe this way it'll work. I'm just hoping. I'll just give a shout out to the chat room. Please let me know if you can hear Leigh, because I can't put this any louder, I'm afraid.
Okay, just speak a little bit slower because your voice is a little bit distorted. That's all. Okay.
In the chat room, can you hear me and can you hear our guest? Alrighty. Nobody's hearing anything, it would appear.
Oh, goodness.
They're not hearing me either right now, Leigh, I don't think. So this is becoming a problem. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, because the thing is, you and I can hear each other perfectly, but the studio can't hear both of us.
No, and I can't get back to them because it just says the person you're trying to reach is not available. So I don't know. I don't exactly know what to do now.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to do because I can't reach them.
So it's not
Okay.
between you and the studio.
All right, they say they can hear us both now. Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. That is fantastic. All right, Leigh. So what I was saying is, if you could just tell people who you are, how you got involved, and
I've got,
okay,
I
we
started
both.
the organization about 2 years ago, and also seeing that after seeing the poverty in South Africa with regards to the white folks, and they had no help from the government and social services, and they were directly affected by the broad-based black economic empowerment laws, which prohibits white South Africans from employment. And this affected mainly the blue-collar workers, and they are not rich people. They earn a minimum wage, and eventually they end up in these circumstances in the informal settlements and the squatter camps. And it's really devastating because most of these people have absolutely no resources available for them to get back onto their feet.
Yes, and it's not through any problem that they created, and also because of the race-based laws, they can't work. So I'd love you to address that, the fact that people who had well-paying jobs and middle-class homes and everything that you need to have a fairly decent life, suddenly found themselves out on the streets with nowhere to go.
Exactly. Within 10 years, especially the last, I would say, 10 years, the figure has grown significantly. You know, people often ask us, why are these people having all these children in the squatter camp or in the settlements? But what they don't realize is 6 months ago or 4 months ago or a year ago, these people had jobs, they had a home, they had a car, they had everything that they worked for, and now all of a sudden they've lost everything. And they can't just digest what is after these kids. And they all end up, the entire family ends up in these squatter camps or in the informal settlement. And what do? You've got to raise your children. You've got to make do.
Yes, and they can't even send their children to school now once they're in the camps.
Well, when you go, where do you find, if you can't even afford to buy yourself or your family a loaf of bread, where are you going to find funds for school books? Because in South Africa, you have to buy the school books. You've got to have stationery. You've got to have the school clothing, the PT outfit, everything. Nothing is given to us, and then you've got to pay the school fees. So at the end of the day, they don't send their children to school because they can't even pack a lunch. How do you go on?
It's ringing. I might be able to. Hi, this is Radio Free South Africa. I really apologize for all of this. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened, but I will get this show on the road. I'm just trying to reconnect with Leigh, and once that is done, we can go right ahead with this important show. Thank you for your patience, and thank you very, very much for staying around while we try and get this going. Hello, Leigh.
Yes, Karen.
Okay, right. We should be live now. Leigh, we were dead from the very beginning. So if we have to go back to the very beginning of our conversation, and and start from scratch again. So you are Leigh Oxley du Preez of South African Family Relief Project, who is doing sterling work in the white squatter camps in South Africa. Leigh, so how are you? How did you come to do this? We are live. So how did you come to start this project of South African Family Relief? Because nobody was doing it. There's so many people in South Africa in need. You yourself are not a rich person with plenty of time to burn. How did you start this?
Well, basically, we started this, my husband and I also ended up in dire straits, and then I realized, the plans a person has to make, and my hubby lost his job, and because of the broad-based black economic empowerment laws prohibiting white South Africans from finding employment, we found that more and more white South African people or folks lost their jobs, and they were in crisis. And it's not something that they did to end up in a situation like this. We got assistance, and we got back on our feet and we started assisting other folks, and it just snowballed from there. And the more we helped, the more cries for help we got. And then I realized there's a huge problem here. What do you do when you lose your job and your own government and social services don't help you? It's only the community around you that assist, and even then, it takes a hell of a lot if there's no organization or company or group of people that are willing to help you. So it was an absolute battle. And someone said to me, why don't you start a Facebook page? We started a Facebook page, and it's a full-fledged organization with over 11,000 members, and we help squatter camps, informal settlements, and displaced families in South Africa who are directly affected by the over 119 race-based laws prohibiting South Africans from employment.
Just by the way, Leigh, just for your information, I saw today that there are now over 140 race-based laws. With these latest laws they passed, there are now over 140. Those are the new numbers. So in the last year, they've passed another 20 odd, excluding whites from the job markets. Just for your information.
Well, Corinne, that's devastating news to us because, we try and keep ahead of all the new laws. It's not always easy because most of the time we have news blackouts. So this raises the stakes a lot more. The figure is growing exponentially with the destitute people, and I don't know where help is going to come from. This is really, really bad news for us.
It is indeed. And then, of course, all these new racist laws that they're passing, anything that a white person does or says is racist, but anything that a black says cannot be racist.
Yes, well, we've had people arrested already because of racist remarks. They can wear T-shirts stating that kill the whites. Our own president sings, kill the boer, kill the farmer. But as soon as a white person treads over that line, we are done for.
But you don't even have to tread over the line because...
just fighting for your rights is wrong.
Yes, Dan Root.
It's being perceived as you are completely right-wing and that you do not want to conform to the laws of the government, and that's very dangerous. We are in very dangerous situation because we assist our own folk. I firmly believe that I would never ever stop anybody from helping any group of people they want. All we ask for is to be afforded that same opportunity, freedom of association, and helping in our own direct communities. But according to the government and according to some people, that is racist. So it puts us in even more danger than what we already are in with the crime statistics that's going on in South Africa.
Yes, and apart from that, Leigh, I mean, they have quite firmly stated in the government that blacks cannot be racist.
Correct, because of the apartheid regime, and because of the history, it's impossible for a black person to be racist.
Yes. So, and I mean, Dan was arrested in court, and simply because now for our people outside of South Africa, the Dan Roth is a very, very well-known speaker, activist, patriot of South Africa. He is a prolific author. He runs the page called Praag, Praag.org. And he is a fabulous, fabulous person. However, he went to court yesterday, I think it was, and all he did was ask if they would address him in Afrikaans. Now, Afrikaans is one of the 11 official languages of South Africa. And he asked if they would please address him in Afrikaans, as that is his home language. They issued a bench arrest immediately for him, saying that he was showing contempt of court. So if that is all that is required for a white person to be arrested, and that is what is happening in the USA right now, is that people, patriots, there is a call out for the arrest of all patriots and dissidents. If that is all it takes, then America must please keep a firm eye on South Africa and on what is happening in South Africa, because you are next. There is no question about that. Sorry, Leigh, I just had to break in because that thing with Dan yesterday really upset me horribly.
To us as well, it was very, very shocking. I mean, Dan Roth is a very, very respected individual in South Africa. We all look up to him and we respect him. And for him, such a educated and placid human being, with morals and values, to be treated this way is absolutely unacceptable.
And but if the blacks riot because they do not want to be taught in Afrikaans at an Afrikaans university that they signed up for, knowing it was an Afrikaans university, and then they riot and burn the place down because it's Afrikaans, that's fine. They caused millions of rands of damage. And that's
Correct.
fine with the government. It is perfectly fine. It's freedom of speech. The same as those black people wearing the T-shirts with "Kill all whites" and "F all whites" written on them. That is covered by freedom of speech. But Dan's request, and I'm sure it was polite because he is never a rude man,
Correct.
to be addressed in his own language, you get arrested for. What is the world coming to, Leigh?
Well, as you said, white people are racist, and because he did that, was perceived as being probably facetious, and I feel it was wrong. He is a man, an Afrikaans man, and he should. It is his human right to be spoken to in his mother tongue, which he's entitled to, and he was taken advantage of, and made an example of.
Yes, Leigh, absolutely. So now, Leigh, let's go back to the squatter camp. I'm sorry, I diverted a little bit there, because it was of great importance to mention the horrors that are happening right now in South Africa. So if you'd go back to the squatter camps and explain to us the beginnings of Mansfield and where they are today, because I don't think that you were alive any of that time.
Sorry, Karen, I missed that. Just say that again.
If we would go back to the beginnings of Mansfield.
Yes. Munseyville the people from Munseyville used to live in Coronation Park, which was a caravan park, and the municipality owned the land. They wanted the land for a development, and after a 9-year court battle, the residents lost the privilege of staying on the land, even though they were paying rent and they uplifted the place in the way they could. They then were put on a piece of land called Munseyville, which is in a completely black area. It is an old landfill, and it's on a slope that goes into a valley. So on your right-hand side of Munseyville, you'll see the municipality that built the RDP houses, low-cost housing for the blacks. They have water, they have paved roads, they have electricity, they have solar panels, the geysers, hot water. They've got every single amenity possible. And then on the left-hand side of the road, you see all these corrugated iron shacks on a landfill. They've only got 5 faucets for about 300 residents, and there are no ablution blocks, no fixed toilets. They've only got like a porta potty, which is they
know what that is in America.
Yeah, a porta potty, which is only emptied every 2 weeks. So you can imagine in the heat, the stench that comes from these porta potties. And they put these shacks down without any floors. It's basically just 4 sides with no windows. Now, South Africa is in El Nino year, which is absolutely horrific heat. We've experienced 41, 44, 45-degree heat. Now, living in a corrugated iron shack without floors and water and windows and food, and it's really, really bad. It's like an oven going in there.
I believe some people burnt themselves on the side of the shacks last summer.
Actually, I did. I was walking in the camp, and we were giving out some food parcels, and I lost my balance, and I just touched my arm, just touched the side of the corrugated iron shack, and I burnt my arm against the shack, and it was painful. I was in pain for like 2-3 days afterwards. So you can imagine a tiny little child. Their skins are a lot more, a lot softer, and I couldn't believe it. We actually had a crisis the one day because of the high temperature. I had to get all the children out of the shacks immediately, and we had to get them underneath a covered roof, outside on the...
Leigh, we're coming up to an ad break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Welcome back to Radio Free South Africa. This is your host, Karen Smith, and our guest today is Leigh Oxley du Preez of South African Family Relief Project. Leigh and her team are doing sterling work amongst the squatter camps in South Africa, and I thought it was important for you to hear from somebody who goes there every single day what the conditions are like there. Welcome back, Leigh.
Thank you, Karen.
So please just go ahead. You have so much to tell us, and it's very important what you have to say. So please go ahead, and if you need me to intervene, just give me a nudge.
Okay. Well, mainly we're very upset about the conditions these people are living in. And it's not only in Munseyville. It's in the informal settlements as well. These people are not finding employment, and the government is not doing anything to assist them. The conditions are mostly the same everywhere. They are not being employed, and thus they have to rely on people's donations. There's no other way. What upsets me sometimes are these people saying, but why do these people have so many children? Why do they have children? But they don't realize that it was maybe a month ago or maybe 6 months ago that they were still all right and that they still had jobs. But after losing everything, they still have their children and they've still got to try and support their families. And most of these families deteriorate and they fall apart. If it wasn't for these race-based laws prohibiting them from employment and keeping the family upright, they would not have had these difficulties. So it's very important to us to keep these families together, even though they are going through this terrible injustice. Because that's what I feel it is. It's a human rights violation, especially because they are denied assistance. Let's take, for example, the drought in South Africa. The South African government decided that they will only send relief to the black farmers. So the black farmers are very few, and some of them do amazing work. But why distinguish between black and white? Why is the South African government not helping all the farmers?
Yes, that is a very good question. But they've told the white farmers that they must just find a different way of farming. And the black farmers, well, we'll help you. And so South Africans have rallied together, have they not? And they're helping each other.
It's been amazing, Corin. I'm telling you, I get goosebumps when I think about it. Trucks and trucks of water and trucks of food and bales was transported in a huge long line that was donated by our own South African people to help the white Boers. The white farmers, and that was absolutely, truly amazing. And I can tell you, if it wasn't for the continuous help of institutions and communities, these white people in the squatter camps would have been far worse off.
Absolutely, but Leigh, there are not enough people with jobs in South Africa to contribute finances.
No, not nearly, because you have most of the time you have a family who's doing all right, but the brother or the sister or the cousin or the grandparents or the parents even are on their knees. Because of the race-based laws in South Africa. So sometimes these families don't have families that can assist them, and this is where they end up. They don't have those resources and backups, family backup to assist them.
Absolutely, Leigh. And the problem is that those who have got jobs are really hanging on, because with the drought, with the farms going under, with the animals dying of starvation, etc., the food costs in South Africa have gone up astronomically.
Well, it's absolutely terrible. People cannot afford meat, red meat at all. Mostly chicken. Fish is unbelievable. You can't buy fish. So yes, they have now proposed. Whether it's true or not, it has to be verified, but they have now proposed that they're going to legalize dog and cat meat in South Africa to help with the meat shortage.
Well, I don't know about you, Leigh, but I would really have to be starving to eat that. I just couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
I don't either. What boggles my brain is the fact that we don't have enough animal rights activists on this. I feel it's absolutely against our beliefs, and I can't even wrap my brain around it. To me, it's absolutely horrendous, and the fact that it's being actually they're wanting to implement it it's devastating to us.
I saw the most terrible article the other day, Leigh, about a well-known restaurant in Pretoria that was closed down because it was serving human flesh to its customers.
Yes, that is the truth. They were closed down. One of the staff members realized that it was actually they were selling human meat, and they reported it. But how long was it going on before they reported it? In South Africa, we have the witch doctors, and they trade in human body parts. So to them, it's fine. To them, it's legal. They don't care because they call it tradition. It's acceptable, even though it's unlawful.
Well, I don't believe that multiple marriages are lawful either in South Africa, but our president has 4 wives.
Yes, he has 4 wives, but only traditionally married. He's only married on, normally like an ordinary marriage to 1. The rest he's married traditionally to.
And so that is acceptable.
That is acceptable. He's got I stand corrected, between 15 and 22 children. I'm not too sure.
22, I believe, but then again, who knows? Any number coming out of South Africa is absolute doubtful,
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So
Leigh, the situation in Muncieville, I know it's the one that we talk about the most. I know it is because that is a place which was designated by the government. That is where whites have to live. And it
exactly.
is the only legally agreed white squatter camp.
Yes.
Because they put them there. All other are informal settlements.
That is correct.
So that gives the government grounds to say that there are only 300 or whatever white people suffering from poverty because they're the only ones living in a squatter camp. They just ignore the other 480 or however many there are because, well, they're not legally designated as such. So they put out this rumor that there are so few whites living in poverty that they're not even countable.
Well, that is so wrong. Just because the government hasn't set aside land for all the other 700,000 or whatever figure it is, people, thank goodness. I thank the Lord for these private landowners that have taken in these people. Yes, some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are doing a great job, some of them not so much. And that's why we've decided we wanted to start our own farm project because, even though these folks are in the situation that they are in, they are not being reskilled. They are not being taught. What can we do when in this situation? We are a very innovative nation. We could come through the Great Track, and we came from all over all across the world, and we built ourselves a wonderful, wonderful country. I'm not talking about the political side. I'm talking about the actual infrastructure and economy. And we can do this again, even though we are being suppressed and even though our rights are being taken away. In the Boer, when the Great Track took place and the British invaded South Africa and they put our people in concentration camps, all the books were taken away. The mothers started teaching their children out of the Bible. We're a God-fearing nation. They taught their children out of the Bible, and we can do this. We can get up and try and help ourselves. Yes, we need help from all over, but I believe that for as long as we live in South Africa and we can't go anywhere, we have to try and uplift ourselves.
Absolutely. So, Leigh, tell us now about your new project that you people are going to be, apart from all the other things that you do every single day, your charity, well, I have to say that because you can't stop doing those things and you don't have any intention of. But your new project, tell us about that.
Well, our new project is the South African Family Relief Farm Project, and our main focus will be taking in entire family, like mom, dad, and up to 3 children under 5 years, because the tiny children are the ones that are most vulnerable. We will screen the families, and we will put the families on the farm. The family will then, obviously, we will be try to be self-sufficient. The families will have a home to stay in. They will be given 3 meals a day. They will not pay rent. They will save their income. They will earn an actual income. Everybody will tend to the farm in the morning, but from a certain time until the end of day, they will practice their own skill. And if they do not have a skill, a new skill will be taught to them. Like, for example, making furniture. On a Saturday, they would go and sell their furniture at a market, which will generate income for that specific family. And they will sign a 1-year contract with us. And after 1 year, they would be able to support the family, their own family, and go out into society with what new skills they have learned. It is a very daunting task, and we do need a lot of help. We've raised some money through amazing donors to acquire land, but we need more funds. We can do this. We can reskill these people, and we can teach them not to beg anymore.
All right. So the other thing that we need to really address is why you need international funds.
Well, because we are not a broad-based Black economic empowerment compliant, which means that I do not have Black board members, and which means that we help mostly white South Africans. We do not qualify for any government funding. So we get absolutely zero from the government. We are solely reliant on international funding. South Africans do not have money. They maybe help with goods, food, clothing, machinery and
Furniture and things.
Furniture and things like that, but no funds. And so we are really, really, really reliant on international funding. If we don't get it, we cannot feed and we cannot do a project like this. For example, at Munsieville, if it wasn't for our amazing international donors, those people wouldn't have floors in their shacks. We wouldn't have been able to put a concrete floor and a roof up so that the children in this terrible heat can lie down and a breeze can go through them without them frying themselves in a corrugated iron shack. We're busy building 2 classrooms, like a creche at Munsieville, so that the children can be educated. And that's the main thing that I'm worried about, is our children are not being educated. Even if they go to school, even if they are lucky to go to school, our education system is atrocious. Absolutely, you cannot do anything with our grade 12. You can't go anywhere in the world. It's not really recognized.
No, and it used to be one of the most in demand in the world.
That's correct. And now these days we can't do anything with it because they keep on adjusting the curriculum. They keep on adjusting the level of pass rate. I mean, we have 100% in some schools of matric failures. We have 100% HIV positive matric class.
100%. 100%.
Yes, 100%. Matric failure in one school.
Oh my goodness. And apart from that, you don't have to have even 50% to pass matric. So that is ridiculous.
Yeah, some subjects you only need 35%.
and it's still 100% failure.
Correct.
Oh, Leigh, that is shocking. So tell us some more about this farm project, because you haven't really said that you're wanting to buy a farm.
Yes, we are wanting to buy a farm. We are definitely looking at land that does not have a land claim on that on the land. We have to look at that, obviously. And we've got to do this. We will be taking in 5 families at first. As we build more housing, we will take in more families. We will have a steel workshop, a wood workshop. We will have women learning to do some pottery, learning to make jams, learning to do sewing, things that they can actually make and sell, which will generate income. The 100% of the proceeds that the people make at the farm market, that goes to them.
Well,
and they have to prove that they can save up money so that they can their first month's rent, their first deposit, electricity and water.
So, Leigh, how many people do you think that you could have on? Well, it depends on the size of the property and everything. But how many people are you planning to have on the farm in 1 year? Because they sign this 1-year contract, and then.
Well, that all depends on the funding and also the size of the land. We've been looking at land. It's really, really expensive. We've managed to raise about 100,000. We need 2.2 million, which is a lot of money. We are going to build low-cost housing first for the people. So yes, we're going to put up a chicken farm or chickens. We will have the meat chickens, the broilers, and we'll have the egg layers. We will be completely self-sufficient within a few months. So they will start the vegetable gardens, and we will work so hard. I believe in this project because I know it can work.
Well, it's so desperately needed, Leigh, because as you yourself said, there are many people who have given land for people to go and squat on, literally, so that they can have the safety and numbers going for them. But,
you see,
these people still have to pay rent, and
that's it. Yes.
Some of the people, some of the people who are on the properties and are managing them are really awful.
They are. They basically, some of them people out during the day and they have to go and beg on the side of the road to make their daily rental. Say, for example, the owner wants a 50 Rand or 100 Rand, 80 Rand rental a day. Those people have to bring home the 50 Rand. They don't get food. So that's just the rental. So they've got to make over and above their rental each day in order to get food. Not everybody has organizations coming out and delivering food. And that is where my problem lies. We are creating a nation that begs, and I don't believe in that. I feel that we can put these people to work. We can get a contract from somebody, whoever, making gates or making wooden frames for windows, or we can get these people working.
Absolutely, because you have got a lot of people who, as you said yourself, were blue collar workers.
Exactly. Yes, these people have skills. They have car mechanics. You can open up we can have a mechanic shop. There's so many things that these people can do. We've got to give them their dignity back. They've got to know, wow, I can earn a living again. I've got a future for my family. I see the Corin, you go into these camps and you see a guy, he's in his 40s. He used to be a fitter and turner, and he can't look after his family. His skills are not needed anywhere. Give that man a job, okay, and see how things change. Give him his dignity back and teach him new skills if that skill is not working anymore. Give him something else to do. teach them new skills, and let them go back out into society and be positive, working individuals.
Yes, because I think that's one of the hardest things. The longer you stay in one of these camps, the more hopeless you feel, the more interviews you try and organize for yourself, the more rejected you feel until you are unable any longer to project yourself positively to the world.
That's it. Yes. They don't have, they've got this, they're dirty, they've got this despaired look on their face. And you can imagine being hungry, being dirty, being tired, walking kilometers in this devastating heat, trying to find a job, just a little job for the day to feed your family, let alone a weekly or a monthly income job. And most people look down upon these folks, and it's not because they are there. They didn't choose this situation. They were forced into the situation, and that's what most people don't understand.
No.
And I want to tell these people, you can do this. You can get a job. You can uplift yourself. You don't have to look into other people's eyes for anything. Be positive and teach the children a proper curriculum. Get the women working and their moral values. Teach them moral values again. And it's a lot of things that goes into a project like this. So it's counselors, it's housing, it's food. We've got to make sure that these people have enough food. We've got to make sure that we have enough tools and equipment so that they can work. We've got to buy feed and seeds and animals and feed the animals and grow our own food in order for this project to be successful. It's not just the one person job. It's a nation job.
No, absolutely, Leigh, but you don't have the nation behind you because everybody is struggling so hard to survive, and everybody knows that if they lose their job, they're a couple of months away from being in one of those camps themselves.
That's true.
So, yes, they'll give you their worn-out clothes, and yes, they will definitely give a food parcel if they can afford it. But as for cash folding money, they don't have it, and those that do are holding on to it for dear life because they know that they're only a paycheck away from being there themselves.
That's correct. That's why we need help from the international community. We cannot make a success out of this without support.
No.
This is so close to my heart, just like the camp people. And we will not be taking in people that are living in homes. We will source the people from the camps themselves, deserving individuals or deserving families with small little children that we can teach from tiny upwards.
Yeah, so the little kids do not grow up with total self-loathing, as it were, because,
yes,
that's what they're being taught now, not taught physically in a school, but by their sheer lifestyle. They are taught that they are worthless.
Well, you know what? Even the little ones that do go to school that live in these camps, they are being treated very shoddily. Other children look down upon them. They don't have shoes during the winter. They don't have the winter wear, so they wear the short sleeve and short dresses and pants throughout the year, winter and summer.
Yeah, and children are cruel.
They are so cruel. They don't understand why these children are living or come from the living conditions where they come from.
So even when the parents try and uplift the children by having them educated, it's a double-edged sword.
Exactly. The children go to school with not much education. Like I said, the education system is bad. And then they've got to endure the mocking because they are poor and because they live in these camps. Because coming out of a camp like this has got a great stigma to it. And children can be very, very cruel, like you said. They don't think.
Well, it's not only the children, Leigh, because Last week, I read an article about don't give money to white beggars on the street corners because they're all drug addicts and they're
Oh,
all
I was so
drunk.
angry.
I don't know if you read that article.
I saw it. I
I
saw it.
was horrified at man's inhumanity to man because those people are not standing on that corner because they're enjoying it.
Exactly, exactly. Look, I do agree that you do get one or two odd that succumb to drug abuse and alcohol abuse, and they've gone so low that they don't see anywhere out for themselves or their families. But for those that are out there that I see on a daily basis that are truly fighting to survive, fighting to keep their family together, and fighting to have food on their plates and shelter. Those people do deserve my time of day and everybody else's as well.
Leigh, I so agree with you. I mean, that is why you have always been the charity that I support and that I talk about the most, because you are one of the few organizations that has got the courage to go out there, to put yourselves out there and put a target on your backs, because the government does not like what you're doing and people themselves don't like what you're doing because you are drawing attention to something they don't want to admit exists. So what you do is so vitally important to over 1 million, 1/3 almost of the white population of South Africa is living like this.
That's correct. And over 350,000 of that figure are children, tiny little children that were born in a free and fair South Africa, the wonderful rainbow nation that everybody tends to speak about. But they don't have rights. Their rights have been taken away from them. These children are innocent. I don't care who says what. They do not deserve to pay for the transgressions of their forefathers. I'm sorry. These are innocent babies.
No, absolutely, Leigh. Absolutely. And who in their right? Well, if people were like you, brought face to face with these realities every day, if they would just go and visit one of these camps and see the reality, they might be persuaded to change their mind. But those very same people don't want to go there.
No, they don't. They cannot bear to face what we face every day. It's too hard for them to see. We have really good people, and I can understand sometimes, but we have so many South Africans that don't know that there are these camps, and that people they don't want to know. They drive past these places every single day, and they do not make an effort to help or assist until it's time for them to land up there.
Yeah, and then they want to know why are there not thousands of people helping them?
Exactly. I met an engineer, him and his wife, okay, he's in his 60s. He lost his job. He actually trained the black guy in his position. The black guy got 3 times his salary, and when he had finished training him, he lost his job, and they ended up in one of these camps. And he said to me, Leigh, I'm not worth anything. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? I don't have a pension. He's been waiting for like 2 years to get an old age pension, which he qualifies for. But every time he goes back, he just gets more red tape and more red tape and more red tape.
Yeah, and then he needs an address and doesn't have one. I think I need you to speak about that, because that is one of the biggest drawbacks for these people living in these camps.
Yes, if you apply for a job or a pension or any assistance from the social services and you cannot prove an address. Now, imagine you living in a squatter camp in a shack. There's only a street name. There's only a street. And it's a dirt road, and it runs for miles and miles, and you cannot pinpoint where your house is. Your house doesn't, it's a shack. You do not have an actual house number. It's not registered on any town plan or anything. It's rural. There's no electricity that links you to that property. So how do you get a proof of residence in order to apply for a pension, to apply for an old age assistance, to apply for a medical, apply for a job, apply for your ID document, go to the hospital in an emergency, because they ask you, where do you stay? What's your address? And you say Munseyville squatter camp.
Yeah. So essentially, these people are being made to disappear. They don't exist really.
Correct.
They are shadow people. And what frightens me, Leigh, is no matter what people say against them, 1/3 of the white population cannot be lazy, drunken, drug addicted layabouts who are doing this because, well, just because they want to.
No, they are not. I don't agree with that statement at all. I know my volunteers work in these camps. We see really, really, truly amazing people. We sit and we talk to them. We hear their stories. And you know what? It's heart-wrenching, really heart-wrenching. You look into the eyes of these parents, and you can see the fear and I just get very, very emotional, because these children and the families are being discriminated against, and the world doesn't care, and the South African government doesn't care. We are on our way. If summer is busy ending, we are in for a cold winter. Some of these kids don't have shoes. There's no blankets. They don't even have a mattress to sleep on. And every single day, more and more families are landing up in these camps. These camps are full, Karen. They are full. I've in the last month or so, I've phoned around so many times, camp to camp to camp. Please, can you help me? I've got a family of 3. I've got a family of 5. Can you help us? We'll put up a Wendy home for them if you can just accommodate them. And they are full. Where are all these people going to go?
I don't know. And the problem is, Leigh, that I'm seeing that the mines are closing. So there's going to be more and more layoffs there. And
yeah, 1,700 and odd job losses just before the winter.
Yes. So you are going to have more and more and more of these people that you need to find help for, and it's just not available.
No, it's not. The people in the bushes, you see them, tents popping up in the bushes. We've got, a pregnant woman living in a bush with her husband in a tent. And we've got to take fresh water. There's no water. The people chase them away at the garage when they go and ask for drinking water. There's no place where they can go to the toilet. They chase them away. Where do you wash your clothing? How's that baby, that tiny newborn baby is going to live in that tent? We've got to get land. We've got to get these people out. I cannot help every single family in South Africa that's destitute, but we can at least try and take a handful in and make it work, get them out and safe.
Yes, Leigh, but okay, so you're trying to find a piece of land that doesn't have a land claim on it. But
yes.
The problem is they've reopened the land claims.
Yes, they have.
So you get a piece of land that doesn't have a land claim on it right now, at this moment. And yes. You do all these things. You are growing vegetables, you've got chickens, you've got sheep and cows, and you've got houses, and you've got place for these people to study and learn during the day. Okay, so then they put a land claim on it. Because you know that is the way they operate.
Yeah, that's true. luckily, in our favor, land claims will take years and years and years to go to court because of the backlog. Number one, we will also be facing the land redistribution laws, which says that any government official can come and lay claim to your land if they should choose to do so. So we will be running the risk anyway, just by that law. But just because there are these laws in place, it will not deter me to at least try to do something for these people. And until such a time, I will fight tooth and nail to keep these people safe.
No, absolutely, Leigh, because the ones that you have found that are living on their own, on the side of the roads and living under a piece of canvas, those people are at great risk. I mean, they're not safe in the camps, but they are safer simply because there are numbers there. But it's the ones living out there on their own, or living a family of 4 in a car that doesn't go. They're just sleeping in it. I mean, those people, the risk that of murder.
Well, basically, what we've learned is they stay awake at night, especially families in cars and in the bush. They do not sleep at night. They keep awake. They walk around because of the murder and crime rate. They'll kill you just for your belt and shoes, and so they usually stay awake, and then during the day is when they sleep, because most of the time they get attacked at night.
Leigh, the picture you paint is so heartbreaking. You know, as I said at the beginning of this show, it is easy for me to comment and to speak about it from this distance. But the important thing is that you are in these camps every single day. And you know the hopelessness, the fear, the hunger, the dirt, the trauma that these people live with.
You know what? If people do not come out to South Africa and don't come and see for themselves and experience it for themselves, I don't know how to put it across any clearer.
No, but Leigh, when they come to South Africa, because the dollar is worth so much there, it's a really cheap holiday.
Yeah.
They go to the protected tourist places and they don't see it.
No, they don't. Unless you make contact with a person like me or from other organizations, you will not see it. They actually direct the people from the airport to certain areas where it's beautiful beaches and hotels but right in the back, they don't see the devastation, and they don't see the crime and the horrific farm murders and home invasions that are happening. More and more tourists are being attacked in South Africa. I mean, we've got T-shirts being sold at our airport saying, "Please don't kill me, I'm a tourist, not a Boer."
Leigh, I thought that was just a...
No, it's not a joke. It actually is there. They do sell it.
Okay, and then I would like you to please, and you don't need to get very personal about it, but I would like you to explain how difficult it is, number one, to get your papers out of the South African government to leave or to go on holiday, and number two, to get a visa to go anywhere.
The chances of you getting visas and getting the money together and getting the papers are practically zero. If you do not have a proper job offer, and you've just sold your house for millions, believe me, you will not get out. There's just no two ways about it. You will not get out. Visas are unobtainable. We've heard of scary cases where people have applied to different countries and they were just flat out denied.
Well,
more and more white South Africans are turned away. We need the world to acknowledge the genocide that is going on. Over 80,000 white South Africans have died brutally and lost their lives in South Africa because of the violence I'm at a loss for words, really.
No,
Nobody can get out.
absolutely, Leigh. I understand that. I mean, I know how hard it was for me to get my papers, married to an American, to come here. And even then, I got a deportation date because I didn't prove to the powers that be's um, satisfaction that
Yes.
I had a good faith marriage. So I don't know. And it's gotten very, very much more difficult since then because I help a lot of South Africans, A, that are trying to get out, and B, that have gotten out and are applying for asylum in a different country, and not only in the USA. Now, for all of them, it is an absolute nightmare because no matter what you do, you can be sent back tomorrow.
That's correct. Because no country in the world is giving South Africans asylum or refugee status. Um, the chances of us getting out is basically zero. You know, they've killed 10% of the white population in the last 10 years.
Yes, Leigh.
10%.
Yes, Leigh.
And people are trying to leave. People are really trying from all over to sell whatever they have and leave. But most of the times they are deported right back to South Africa. And when applying for asylum, the government gets involved and says, "What are you talking about? There's nothing going on here. We're a safe and wonderful country."
Yes, Leigh, absolutely. It's scary for me because I have also seen there's a question in the chat room about what are papers. So what papers do we need? We need our unabridged birth certificate. We need our unabridged marriage certificate. We need a police clearance certificate. Now, when you're dealing with the ANC government, you can apply for those things and you can wait for 3 years to get them.
Yes, that's correct. You wait forever. I've got a friend who's been waiting for about 3 years now, going on 3 years for their papers. And also your tax certificate. Don't forget your tax. They
Yes.
want to make sure that you've paid up all your taxes before you leave.
Yes.
So it's the police clearance certificate. It's your unabridged birth certificate. It's the unabridged birth certificates of your children. And lo and behold, if you are divorced, you've got a big problem. And you need your police clearance certificates and your tax clearance certificates. And waiting for all that documentation and surviving at the same time, gathering money and trying to sell your house, which can take up to 3 to 5 years, depending on what size house you have and what you want for your house. The prices have gone down tremendously. So most people have lost on their houses when selling it just to get out. So it's a daunting task, let me tell you. And these people do not have the means to get out. It means that we have to make a plan for the folks that are here and that are going to stay here, whether they live or die. We've got to help these folks.
And yes, there's another question. I thought South Africa was the most beautiful country in the world. Yes, it was. It was. And Cape Town has just received that accolade again, the most beautiful city in the world. It is. But if you're just visiting, try and live there.
Try and live. You will, yes. Then you will be faced with the true South Africa.
Absolutely. And yes, all the beauty in the world is not going to help you when six, and they come in gangs of 4 to 6, come into your house with knives and guns and hold you up and rape the wife and rape the daughters and burn the male children to death and keep you there for 3 days while they torture you. No beauty in the world is going to help you.
No, none whatsoever. The horrific murders, I cannot. Corinne, you know what? We know people. We see the deaths that are taking place, and I cannot understand why people are so complacent about it. Even the rest of the world. Our people are dying. It's at a rate of war, and nothing's being done.
But
Not the United Nations don't want to listen. Um, you know, Corinne, yourself, how many people we've asked for help in as an ordinary South African citizen, for people or countries and organizations to help South Africa and to force the government to recognize what is going on here. Nothing.
silence, Leigh, absolute silence, dead silence. They don't even acknowledge that you have written to them or been to see them. It is absolutely frightening. And yet, not just the mainstream, everybody is silent on this subject. And it is more whites have been killed in South Africa than were killed in the entire Iraq war.
That's correct.
And nobody is paying attention. And they're not just killed, they are tortured brutally. The pictures are stomach turning. You want to vomit if you see pictures of these crime scenes. And the government denies it. It's just ordinary burglary or robbery. It's normal crime.
Yes.
And well, I don't know. Apart from our voices and the people in South Africa, like yourself, who are brave enough to come onto a show and to talk about it, there are a handful of us doing it. And we need loud voices screaming to the world. And I understand. I really understand that people are scared. I do understand that.
Because you know why, Corinne? We are being attacked verbally. We are being told that we are right wingers. We are being told that we are racist. We are being told all kinds of things. I've been called the most horrendous names under the earth. But just because I'm looking after my own people.
I know, Leigh. I know your and my hate mail or something.
Oh.
Just that would be enough to wake the world up. I realize that. I understand that perfectly. But fear cannot stop us. You've just said, to the last breath in your body, you will keep doing this. And
Yes.
I will as well. Leigh, you know I'm incapacitated. You know I'm disabled. You know that any moment now I'm going to be a paraplegic. If I
Yes.
slip, fall, drop something on myself, I will end up a paraplegic. We know that. But does that mean that we have to shut up? Because if we do, then what?
Then these folks are done for. Even the handful that we assist, and I mean we can't assist everybody, but we're going to fail all of them. And I cannot bear to go to sleep at night thinking that I've not done anything to do some. I have to do something. It's in my. These are my people.
Yes, Leigh, and mine, and mine.
Stand by and allow this, even though I might be insignificant to most people. I don't care. These people are innocent. These children are innocent, and they need as much help as they can get. And I'm urging everybody out there to please help us.
And if you cannot help financially, at least speak out, because if everybody that hears our voices tells another 3 people and directs them to the correct websites, we will be able to help, because there are very few of us doing this. And the world needs to wake up. The world needs to hear about this. The world needs to know, because people, I believe in the intrinsic kindness and decency of people. And once they know, they will help. But we need a huge voice to let them know.
Yes.
So, Leigh, if you would just give your websites, please, because we're coming up to the end of the show. And I know that BB9 very kindly has posted them. But if you just give them again, please, because you need financial aid. And please, people, realize that the South African rand is almost 20 to the dollar. So if you give $5 dollars. It's 100 rand. And that can feed a family even at today's prices for a week. So please, 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 if you can't give, tell somebody who can and direct them to the website. This is a genocide of the white South Africans, and we need to stand behind them and help them.
Please, people, I cannot stress enough the help that we need. You can go on to www.safrpsa.org. Please go to our Facebook page, South African Family Relief Project. Go and see what we do. Look at our photographs. Go and see the work that we do. We are really, really helping these folks, and we need your help. We cannot do this on our own. Our government is denying all assistance, and these children are suffering. We have to have your help.
Absolutely, and if I can add my voice to that, I guarantee you that this charity does not give huge salaries to its staff. They are volunteers. They don't get paid. They get paid sometimes for the petrol for their cars to deliver these things, but in general, they do not get paid by the charity. Every penny that you give goes to, thank you Blackbird 9 for posting the link again. Every penny that you give goes to these people. And we really, really need to help South African Family Relief to get this farm going, to get these people, give them a hand up, not a hand out, because they need the hand outs, but that is not going to help them forever. They need a hand up so that they can start supporting themselves, get some pride, get some dignity back, and then we can start looking at a bigger white voice in South Africa. But right now, they have no voice, they have no political power, they have no help coming their way. We need you to help them.
Thank you,
Coming
Corin.
to the end of the show. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you so much, Leigh, for being my guest today. People, please pay attention and spread the word. This is a tragedy that we can help to solve. Thank you so much for listening. Same time, same place next week.